Act 3.
Act 3, yes. Hello and welcome to this edition of the Native News Update on Friday, September 25th. I'm your host for today's program, Kimberly Acosta. Many of the stories you hear here today can be found at our website, IndianCountryNews.com, or you can check out IndianCountryTV.com. And here's the news for the day from the Associated Press and other Native news sources. The Southern Ute Tribe has gained control of its health clinic after settling a lawsuit with the federal government that has lasted nearly 5 years. The tribe could take over the Ignacio Clinic from the Indian Health Service by next week, said IHS spokesman Russ Pedersen. The nearly 5-year-long legal battle ended with a settlement last week in federal court in New Mexico. The September 16th court order requires the government to sign a contract and funding agreement with the Southern Ute Tribe. The tribe sued in January 2005 after the IHS refused to turn over control of the clinic under the Indian Self-Determination and Educational Assistance Act. Under the act, the federal government is supposed to let willing tribes take over their own services. But in practice, the Indian Health Service has been unwilling to let tribes across the country run their own clinics after balking over the price of the contract. The IHS has refused to sign a self-determination contract with the Southern Ute because it didn't have the money to pay contract support costs. But Congress this year plans to add $107 million nationally to the IHS budget for contract support. Indian tribes are expected to have 80 to 90% of the shortfall in contract support covered this year. Native American groups have prevailed in their efforts to save a culturally significant oak tree on the University of Wisconsin Eau Claire's campus. The tree would have been replaced by blacktop and a loading dock during construction of a new student center. But Chancellor Brian Levin Stankovich has agreed to have the architects rework their plans. The oak tree stands where a 300-year-old tree used to be. That's where warring Dakota Sioux and Ojibwe tribes are believed to have met for peace councils. The original tree was destroyed by wind and lightning, and it was replaced by the current council oak. A campus spokesman says that a plan to submit the Student Center project for Board of Regents approval next month might now be postponed. The RCMP are continuing their investigation into the disappearance of a 16-year-old Hillary Bunnell. The Burnt Church teen went missing on Saturday, September 5th. The award offered by the Chief and Council from the Burnt Church First Nation and donations received from people attending the Atlantic Policy Congress of First Nations Chiefs now stands at $15,645. In addition, New Brunswick Crime Stoppers is offering an up to $2,000 maximum award for information leading to Hillary's whereabouts. Bunnell was last seen on September 5th at approximately 7:30 a.m. walking on Highway 11 in the Burnt Church First Nation. She is described as being 5 feet 5 inches tall and weighs 134 pounds. She is Aboriginal and has dark brown eyes and long black hair. She was wearing a purple t-shirt, a black fitted sweater with zipper in front, blue denim skirt, and flip-flops. Anyone with information that may lead to locating Hillary is asked to call the New Brunswick Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS. That's 1-800-222-8477. More than 1,400 artifacts taken from Native American sites were returned to tribal members at the federal courthouse in Spokane, Washington on Thursday, September 24th. The items returned, which were recovered from the collection of Kenneth Millett of Newport, included arrowheads, necklaces, and part of a jawbone. They were given to members of the Spokane, Colville, Coeur d'Alene, and Nez Perce tribes. Millett was indicted in September 2008 on charges of illegally possessing and selling Native American artifacts and human remains. He pleaded guilty to 4 counts and was sentenced in January to 3 years of probation. He was ordered to forfeit the artifacts and to pay $7,000 in restitution and a $10,000 fine. Retired U.S. Attorney Tom Hopkins said the investigation began in part when he first saw an ad listing items for sale in the Nicolette Nick Want ads. Millett was interested in selling the items in bulk for large sums of cash to finance his retirement, Hopkins said. He also advertised online on sites such as eBay. Native American artifacts and remains are protected by the Federal Archaeological Resource Protection Act. New York Governor David Paterson has endorsed Shinnecock Nation's bid for federal recognition, an important step for a tribe that wants to build the first casino in New York or its suburbs. Mr. Patterson is the first governor to make such a public embrace of the marathon effort by the Shinnecock Nation to gain recognition. In a September 22nd letter to Ken Salzer, the Secretary of Interior, the governor wrote, "To say federal recognition of the Shinnecock is long overdue would be an understatement," and called for the Obama administration to recognize the tribe, which is based in Southampton, New York. Tribal leaders hailed his move as a key victory because the federal government is in the final stages of considering the tribe's application and might have been deterred without the support of the governor. In May, the Shinnecock cleared a major hurdle toward its goal when it entered into a settlement with the Interior Department that requires a preliminary ruling on its tribal status by December 15th. After a court fight of more than 3 decades, the Shinnecocks believe that the federal recognition is at hand. A final decision will be made by the spring after a public comment period that will follow the preliminary ruling. Northwood Neji Enterprise Community, Inc., an economic development partnership serving 3 Northwoods, Wisconsin Indian tribes, has been awarded a $497,414 grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture as part of efforts to spur economic development in Native American communities. Agricultural Secretary Tom Vilsack announced Thursday that 23 recipients are to receive more than $4 million in grants, along with another $750,000 in grants from the Community Transportation Association of America to help organizations in 4 states and the U.S. Virgin Islands that are working to improve local passenger transportation systems in rural and Native American communities. The Native American funding provided through USDA Rural Development's Rural Business Enterprise Grant Program will be provided for projects where at least 3/4 of the benefits will be received by members of a federally recognized tribe. The beneficiaries of the project may also be tribally owned business ventures. Northwoods Neji Enterprise Community is a partnership between the Lac-du-Flambeau Band of Lake Superior Chippewa, the Menominee Nation, and the Secwaugan Chippewa community, together with 8 municipal partners in northern Wisconsin. The organization provides economic development and other services for the 3 tribal communities. Myron Roll knew about the challenges of diabetes from his father and his pre-med classes, but when the football star at Florida State learned that many American Indian children suffered from the disease, he decided to do something about it. Working with the Seminole Tribe of Florida, the namesake of his college football team, Roll created a program for 5th graders that encouraged healthy lifestyles and a physical fitness. The program has been such a hit that the Interior Department is expanding it as a role model on reservations in New Mexico and Arizona. Roll departs next week on a Rhodes Scholarship to Oxford University, where he plans to pursue a 1-year master's degree in medical anthropology. During the year, Roll will also prepare for the 2010 NFL Draft and has been projected as an early round pick. Roll said that he was inspired to develop the program as he prepared for the scholarship interviews and when he read a newspaper story about Native American children who suffered from high rates of diabetes and obesity. He also took it on personally, for Roll's father, Whitney, suffers from type 2 diabetes. As an inspiring doctor, Roll developed his curriculum at a Seminole charter school at Okeechobee, Florida. During his break from school at Stanford, Roll plans to visit 5 schools in New Mexico and Arizona that will participate in his program. And just a couple of reminders for folks out in Indian country. The Anishinaabe Mawaja Iding gathering is happening today and tomorrow on Madeline Island in La Pointe, Wisconsin, and it is being aired live on IndianCountryTV. So if you'd like to learn more about the history of the Anishinaabe, you can tune into the live broadcast on the featured channel in IndianCountryTV.com. I'd also like to remind everyone to get out and vote for your favorite Native American musician or group. Public voting is currently open for the 11th Annual Native American Music Awards, which will be held on October 3rd in Niagara Falls, New York. You can cast your vote at NativeAmericanMusicAwards.com. And that is the latest roundup of news from Indian Country on this edition of the Native News Update. I'd like to thank you for joining us and have a grand day.